is some of the ways that other investors are taking these down. We currently have six under contract. We're doing 20 before the actual one-day sales event. So there's 14 left at the premium pricing. And so I'll just give you an example of how this makes investor sense. I'm more of a numbers guy. This is an emotional project for me because I love Orange Beach and bringing my family here, but I also, like most real estate investors, need to make the numbers work. So I want to show you what I'm looking at. The opportunity is really to get a condo at a 593,000 to $1 million discount. These take 30 to 36 months to develop. And where do we come up with that discount? Let's talk about just historically on Orange Beach. Orange Beach, if you look at any of the stats, you can pull up MLS data. It is appreciated by about 9.7% over the past 10 years. Of course, there's fluctuations in any market. There's interest rates and all kinds of other stuff, but this is more of a steady growth market because you've got simple supply and demand. They're not making many more beachfront properties. In fact, there's only two left after this one, and Larry owns both of them. And they keep on making people in areas where people are vacationing here. So as Mobile, Atlanta, Birmingham, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Houston, Dallas, Nashville, all these areas are positive growth areas. So they're creating more people in these areas, and the land is still the same. There's not much more, which, general economics, that is what increases the value. And that's why these have been such great investments. Many of you may already own condos in Orange Beach. You don't need to be told what you're seeing here. You've seen it firsthand. So pre-construction pricing, actually, we just got 2 days ago, a realtor let me know that they sold one at pre-construction at $1,087 a square foot. By the time we're done, we're going to be selling it for a minimum of 1,200 a square foot. That's when the building is fully built. So right now, the pre-construction pricing that we're offering is $900 a square foot. With the one that just sold, that's immediate 18% equity in the deal. And I'll break down the numbers for you. Also, these contracts are assignable. So what many people do on some of these projects is they'll tie them up under contract and then they'll sell the contract after a year or sell it after 2 years when it's appreciated in value. With the recent comp just sold, you could step into one with immediate $300,000 of equity based on the $1,087 square foot that just sold. Just as a breakdown of the numbers, another comparable, like I said, sold for $1,087 a square foot. Caribe Seaside early pricing starts at $900 a square foot. So by locking in today, you're capturing 18% instant equity today, not even waiting a year for it to appreciate 10%. Example, 2102, it's 2,081 square feet. Today, you can secure it for 1.8 million at 900 a square foot. If it were valued at 1,087, which it would be because the comp just sold for that, that's 2.262 million. That's giving you $389,147 in immediate equity on day one. If history repeats itself, which it often does, if you're an investor, you look at the past to see what's going on in the future. Orange beachfront condos continue appreciating at 9% per year. Then by the time we have a certificate of occupancy in 36 months, your condo would be worth approximately $2.9 million. So that gives you substantial, about $1 million in equity just to, lock it up today during the pre-construction phase. Again, you probably want to stay in it yourself and then rent it out and enjoy it and enjoy all the amenities. If you wanted to look at it as, do I have an exit strategy? You do, and you've got a profitable one. Here's some of the ways that smart owners are purchasing because of the understanding of the financial dynamics behind it. It makes sense to use a self-directed retirement account. A lot of our investors use EQRP. That's the one I recommend. There's also Equity Trust Fund. A lot of people don't realize you could have checkbook control over your investments, over your 401k or your self-directed IRAs, and you could diversify your retirement accounts by writing a check from that without getting capital gains taken from pulling out retirement funds. So it's actually part of your retirement funds. There's a trick to doing it. You can't actually own and operate it yourself. So we have the third-party management company, which follows the rules. And you would simply, if you wanted to use it yourself, you would simply pay yourself rent in order to use it. So that's the way that people are using their retirement accounts to buy properties like this. Some people might say too, look, 10% is great. I've got access to 15% investments. And, some of that's investing, some of it's speculative. But there is a really cool thing that one of our other investors used. He actually got a securities backed line of credit. That means you don't even have to use your stocks or sell stocks or do a self directed 401k. You actually can get a security backed line of credit based on that retirement account. So he in particular got one at 4.5% through Morgan Stanley. He's got like a $5 million line of credit based on his retirement account. And so you don't have to sell stocks or self-direct if that's not what you want to do. You could actually use a security-backed line of credit and you would talk to your bank. Some of the banks that we know that do it are Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Chase, UBS, Citi, Northern Trust, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and First Republic. Now, I'm so glad that Jewel is on here with us because he's the one who set up the contracts and he's an expert in 1031 exchanges. There's a way that you could use a 1031 exchange, basically purchase this property now without selling your property yet. But when you sell your property, you're credited towards that 1031 exchange. Jewel, would you mind jumping in and just kind of explaining the mechanics behind those 1031 exchange and reverse 1031 exchanges?
Well, the developer has set up the purchase agreement in stages, where the first stage is an option agreement, which gives you the option but not the obligation to go forward and buy a unit. But in the context of that, an option agreement now is considered an intangible real property under the Section 1031 regulations. So if you're in the middle of a 1031, you could direct your qualified intermediary to identify this option agreement that we have as your replacement property. And you would then use that and close on the option agreement as your replacement property, and that would complete your 1031 exchange. If you're not in the middle of a 1031, you can structure it as a reverse 1031, where you loan the money that would be needed to acquire the option agreement to what's called an EAT, an exchange accommodation title holder, who would then own the option until you're ready to exchange into it. And the option agreement gives you 90 days to come up with the balance of the option agreement. And that would give you plenty of time to set up a 1031 exchange, sell property, and then use the proceeds from that sale to acquire the option agreement from the exchange accommodation title holder. Some of this gets complicated. I would be happy to discuss this with anyone's tax advisor or personally over the phone with any potential buyer and explain exactly how it's done and how the regulations have been modified to accommodate what's called intangible real property.
Thank you so much, Jewel. He's got a ton of wisdom and background in this. Jewel, would you mind just putting in the chat ways that people can reach you if they have questions? So if anybody does want to use a 1031 exchange, if they want to, maybe you've got a condo there and you want to trade up, or you've got other real estate that you want to trade up into something very nice like this is a great option for you. And you could acquire it now without actually having sold your property that you want to trade up from yet. So, Jewel, if you could put your contact information in the chat, or if you're having trouble with it, maybe John, you could extract that and put that in the chat so people can contact him.
Absolutely, yes.
I don't see where I can use. Well, okay, chat. I'll do that.
All right. Thanks, Jewel. There are also bridge and lending options for certain qualified investors. We do have a private lender that's worked with us for a while that said that he would provide some lending options. So there's a number of ways you could take this down: all cash, self-directed retirement accounts, combination of both, securities backed line of credit. And it really is, from an investment standpoint, a very smart thing to do, given that this is one of the last, and it will be the best crown jewel of Orange Beach. Will be the tallest, the only one with a rooftop pool and bar. Everybody's going to be going to this place. The only other place that has higher rental income, or the highest place that has highest rental income right now, is the Turquoise, the former project of Larry Wireman. So this is going to be even better than that. I predict, if I had a crystal ball, that everybody will be flocking to this one. Okay. With that being said, John, I'll turn it back over to you. Do you want to share your screen to go through the condo?
Thank you, Ryan. Now that everyone's seen more about how to buy at Caribe Seaside, I'm sharing with you our inventory grid and price sheet. As you can see, the The boxes in red are the residences already spoken for, and we have all the way from the 30th level down to the 8th level. The bottom 5 and the top 5 levels represent a premium of $975 a square foot, just based on demand. You can achieve $900 a square foot by purchasing anywhere between floors 13 and 25. The way to move forward with the purchase is just to contact one of us, reach out to me via email or call, and we will take you through the process. It's a $50,000 deposit. You're sent via DocuSign an option contract with wire instructions and an acknowledgement of the buyer packet. It's really that simple. Otherwise, we are holding reservations for our one-day sales event, which is October 25th, and our VIP party, which is at Larry and Judy's penthouse at the Turquoise on Friday evening, where you can see everyone in person and ask more questions. We do have about 14 contracts remaining that are available before the one-day sales event, so you can secure your residence and be sure you have exactly what you want at the $900 price point.